Hello everyone, this is Yorkshireman and I'm called Mark. This is my channel Yorkshireman66 and I said I'd do a video of my life. Well, basically I don't know what I'm going to call it. I may call it Yorkshireman's life and times of Yorkshireman66. I don't know what I'm going to call it. All I will know is my thumbnail picture will be of me going ah. So that's what it'll be. So there was only one really who said go for it, so that was UK Cow Gaming. So I thought, yeah, I'll go for it, and I will give a few shout outs, especially to Coldstone Slasher. He's got a good channel. The Retro Bear, very good channel. Carl's Room 70, yet another good channel. Gunal Dino is yet again another good channel, and Yorkshire Lad. Yorkshire Lad is yet another good channel, which is now topping nicely. And I hope you well, Wayne. I hope you're safe and well, mate. Wish you all the luck in the world. And so what I basically said is I will tell you about myself. So this is what I'm going to do tonight, and I will do it again as a little mini-series sort of thing. I don't know how many parts it's going to take. You might as well say this is the introduction to it, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. So basically, the basics. What you need to know is, I was born on the 18th of July 1966. Basically, that's when I was born. I was born at Commercial Street. I'm not going to give the number, but I was born at Commercial Street, Aubrey Junction. I was later baptised at St Mary's Church in the same district, and then my mum, I think I was only a few months old, my mum and dad moved to 16 Robin Hood Crescent, where I lived, basically. So when I became 3-year-old, I started to take an interest in football, and my mum and dad asked me to choose a football team, and they were trying to persuade me to go down the route of Sheffield United, which is my mum's team, and my dad's team was Sheffield Wednesday. And I went down the route of, I'm a Leeds United fan. Curse me or not, but I am a Leeds United fan. And Leeds United are back in the Premiership this season. I hope that continues for a long, long time. I really do. So I was 3 when that happened. I was 4 years old when I went to my first junior school, which was Waterton Road up in Luxett, Waterton Road Junior School. I went there, and it was while I was there that they discovered that I was, well, a teacher put my work up in front of class and called me stupid because I was falling behind, but she did wrong there and she was punished for it because she lost her job after that. So the headmaster of that school decided to put me through a battery of tests, and it proved that yes, I was word blind and numerically blind. I was dyslexic, basically. So I had to go to a special school, which was at Bellevue. I went to that school. My mum and dad moved from Robin Hood Crescent into Bellevue at 64 Regent Street, where we lived for a while I was going to Bellevue School. Now, yes, it's a special school. Doesn't mean to say that I'm stupid or think I'm just dyslexic. I do have a dyslexia. I'm word blind, basically. But I got one-to-one tuition with that school, and they proved not only that I had very high intelligence, and I was very intelligent, but they also found out I was numerically blind as well. I'm literally not blind on all numbers. I'm only blind on number 3, which I've been with the teaching what I got, and the one-to-one teaching what I got. I assume I was at least 2 or 3 years behind all the others, but I got one-to-one tuition, which was needed, and within that first term of me starting Bellevue School, I caught up in that first term, and then I went from there into, well, the school wanted me to find a subject what I was really interested in, and history. I've always been interested in history, and that's what I did at my school. I went through it. I went through World War Two. I give accounts of what happened in World War Two, what no one would talk about, and I did all that, which earned me credit and marks at school, and I did really well, and that is the beginning of me. So yeah, I went to a special school around about, I think I was 8 when it went to Roundwood Hill School, when it went up to St George's Road, up up in Luxett, next door to Snapethorpe. It was called Roundwood Hill Special School. Bellevue closed, and we moved up to there. And then that's, this is where I finished my education, basically, at that school. I was bullied every day at that school because of what I was. Someone told school bully, oh, he's dyslexic, he's thick, and we don't want him here and all it. But the thing is, that special school catered for dyslexic people. So not only me who were dyslexic, even school bully were dyslexic, but he didn't like it. So he decided he'd go down the route of, well, I'll beat you up every day. Good luck with that. And that's what happened, basically. I got my own back and I got done. But there was one particular, well, I'll get to that in a bit. But while I was at school, I melted on into woodwork. I did cookery classes, I did pottery classes, I even did sewing classes and things like that. I did all the history, I did all what I wanted to do, and that. And as long as I wasn't distracted, I was fine. I was learning to read, and things like that. I was learning to write, print neatly, which I don't do now. But I was learning all this. I was learning how to do the writing and that, and things like that. And no one took the mick because dyslexic people don't know where to put a comma. Or sometimes I had to use 2 fingers just to space my words out, because if you read my early days of work at school, it all ran into one another. There were no spaces. So I had to learn that, and I got taught 2 finger spaces will be enough marks. I go. So if I went Peter and space, 2 finger space, and Jane, then it makes complete sense because it's Peter and Jane. It's not Peter and Jane all rolled into one. So that's what I was learning right through until until I left, basically. But yeah, I was at school. I did a lot of swimming. I took swimming classes and I learnt how to swim. I think I was 10 or 11 when I met David Wilkie. I joined up with Wakefield Kingfishers. I did a swim with David Wilkie where I did so many lengths, and I did it. I did the lengths what I was supposed to do. I thought I could only do about 15 lengths. I ended up doing about 25, 30 lengths, which for my ability at that time was really good. And I had my photograph taken with David Wilkie, and David Wilkie said to me, and he gave me advice to get better and better, so you get your distance better without take your time and build up your strength, and that's what I did. So then I joined, Kingfishers were life-saving. I did all that, and I got me, I think it was silver, me life-saving certificate, and that. Never got the gold, and that. I joined the Scouts. That's where I got the love of outdoors. But after Scouts, I went into Army Cadets. I did all that. Yet again, reinforcing. I left the Army Cadets because I got my first. Well, I left school. I could have continued until I was 18 up into Army Cadets, but I left Army Cadets because I got my first job, which was with council up at Lofthouse Gate. I got a job there. I liked it. I loved it. And then when that went, I went to Nostell Priory, part-time job there. I liked that as well. But then, so you can see, I left school when I was 17. I was when I was 16, 1982 when I left school. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 1981, I got the love of radios, CB radio and things like that. I got CB radio before that, but my mum sold it because she was told it were illegal, which was my iGame 5. Unfortunately, I lost that in 1970s, 78, 76, 78, 77, something like that. I can't remember exactly what. And then, like I said, 1981, I got into CB. But I left school, back then, I left school 2 years early. Now, what happened is, school said they couldn't learn me anymore in 81, so I had to go to Wakefield College, which I did. I did garden design at Wakefield College. I completed that until 82. 82, that's when I completed, and that's when they let me go, and that's when I got my first job, and things like that. Round about 82, that's when I first got my, working up at Lofthouse Gateway Council. Then I moved on to Nostell Priory Rose Gardens. I did all that. I learnt a lot from that. And then I got found out that I had hay fever when I was 17. That was it. I couldn't do it anymore. And then my dad became very, very ill, emotionally poorly. He had to take early retirement. I had a council flat at the time up at Portobello. I applied for a council house, which I got, 2-bedroom council house for me and my dad. And I moved, we moved there, and I looked after my dad because I became his carer. So from the age of 17 right up to his death in 2003, I was his main carer. And everyone says I was being lazy, but I wasn't. I was a main carer right up to 2003. But that's where I got, my very quick march into adulthood, really, because my dad needed me. He really did. No one else would do it. That is the thing. No one else would do it. No one else would put their life on hold except for me. And my sister said, well, I'm not doing it. You've got to do it. And I thought, well, that's... And I had a word with him. He said, I don't care. I ain't doing it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Don't do it. So I did it. But what you got to understand is, back in the 70s, my mum divorced my dad because of the violence. See, I was prelude to a lot of big domestic violence. So my dad used to beat my mum and things like that. That's what I like to keep private, because that's, for me, that's how I was I was literally threatened with this violence as well. If I said, oh, I'd get the same. Yeah, to a little kid, it's a big responsibility. But I told my mum back in 70, I was 10. I was 9. Back in 75, I told my mum. I said to my mum, and no one listens to a kid, you need to do something before he kills you, or before he kills us. And that's what she did. She ended up leaving him, moving to 29 Denmark Street, taking me with her, things like that. So that's the thing. So, like I said, 17, I was looking after my dad. Now people say, well, if you did all this domestic, why are you looking after your dad? Why are you being his carer? Well, basically, doctors understood it, and I don't expect people to understand it, but the doctors understand it, because I had to be counselled, emotionally counselled through all that, and they understand why I become his carer, because I got, doctor asked me, I says I'm a permanent reminder to what he's done into his past, and I was. So really, I was being kind, and I was looking after my dad, but all the time it was tormenting him because he knew what he did was wrong. But I'll tell you one thing, he never apologised for it. He asked for my forgiveness a couple of times, and I said no. Even on his deathbed, when he was dying in St James's Hospital, November 2003, basically, when he was dying, or it might have been October 2003, but in between them 2 days, he did ask for my forgiveness, and I said no. I said no, I will never forgive you. And then, lights out. He died basically, knowing that I wouldn't forgive him, which I won't. I won't even forgive my brother for beating my mother up, so things like that. So things like that, it's very personal to me. Now, going back a little bit, so in, just before, well, beginning of 2003, I took my first amateur radio licence, the foundation, and I passed that, and my dad was there to see that I passed it. I passed that in May of that year, and my dad were happy for me. He really, oh, great, fantastic. But I only took the licence just to prove that I could do it. I mean, I'd been fighting through, I don't know what they call it, I forgot what they call it now. People always looked at me and said, well, you're dyslexic, you're stupid, you're thick. And I fought against that. I've always fought against opinionated people who think I can't do what I can do. Well, I can. I can solder, I can put a plug on a piece of coax, I can even pass a foundation amateur radio course, and I can pass the 2E0 course, amateur radio course. So obviously I haven't done the M0 because I can't afford it and I ain't got the time to do it. So there you go, and that's the way that crumbles. So that's why I do a lot of amateur or CB radio, because I fell in love with it. That was one of my, I would say it's one of my first hobbies, is that really. One of my first hobbies, it was amateur radio. I took it serious. I took the CB serious. People didn't realise how serious I took it, but I did. When it first came out, I was licensed. People taking piss like, but I was licensed. But when I started having what I call fun, people used to take the mickey out of me, the way I used to talk. So I gave it back, and they didn't like it. So they started to bully me on radio, and I said, keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. And particular time I got really napped off with it. And I told them where I live, come and get me. Oh, they came, but they didn't do no. They're just all mouth over at radio. All the people who used to bully me, they were just all mouth, basically. So that never happened. I used to wind up truckers, and truckers used to get through, well, I'm going to come and beat you up. Well, come and beat me up. When they used to see me, I was a lot thinner than what I am now. When the one trucker come down and he just says, I says, I'll give you fair credit, mate. I says, what do you mean? He says, you've got some balls, you have. And we ended up being friends. And I ended up meeting, 1984, I ended up meeting my mate Kevin, who you see in videos when I do camping videos. I met him in 1984. You know what I mean? I met him on a roof. Because he was putting up an aerial and I was helping. I helped him do it. And things like that. So I've been friends with him. But before that, I think it was 1982, or back end of 82, when I met my mate David, Big Ted. I met him and I became very good friends with him as well. But we met under circumstances where he wanted to really, he was going to teach me a lesson. And he did. He picked me up by one hand and shook me like that. I'm Big Ted. And my head was square. And then he nicknamed me Noddy. So there you go. Because my head was going backwards and forwards. He was a big bloke. But after that, after we found common ground and we had a lot in common, we become very good friends. So a lot of my friends who I met through CV, who wound me up and I wound them back up, we became very good friends. Same with the truck driver, I became very good friends with him. And things like that. And I met lots of people, but true friends are like my mate Kevin, who used to be on CB, and my mate Dave. They were true friends. Dave is no longer with us, he died unfortunately. But Kevin is still there. He got to know me properly, and this is where people fail. I got married in 86. I was only married for a year. We were only together for a year because she used to beat me up. But yeah, we were together. So I got married about 85, 86. And my first ex-wife, she used to beat me up a lot. And she stabbed me. And I did the unthinkable, and I just hit her back. And when police came and they saw what she'd done, they arrested her, but they also arrested me. And I got a caution for that, basically. But she used to cause me trouble, a lot of trouble. And so that's it. Well, I'll put my hands up to that. Yeah, she stabbed me. She stabbed me with a 6-inch, a big screw. Well, I haven't got anything. What's the length of it? Imagine that as a screwdriver with a straight edge. They were a bit longer than about that long. I remember, a big screwdriver, and she stabbed me with it, and I lashed out. But all my friends at that particular time said, "Well, we don't really blame you, because she used to give me black eye. She used to bully me. She said, as soon as we were married, she just changed, and she did used to bully me on that." And I had to go through counselling for that. When I met my second ex-wife, which I had children to, that was different again. You know what I mean? Now, she wanted to she got rid of me. She wanted a divorce, and she says, in court, and this is no lie, he wants too much sex. And even the judge went, "You're joking." I said, "I don't know what she's on about." And she says, "Well, he wants it every day, and he wants it day and night, every day." I thought, "Are you off your nuts?" I wanted it every night, or most nights, but we never discussed how many times. But that's what she says to get the divorce, things like that. I have got 2 children, but, well, they don't talk to me. They don't even talk to the mother. I can understand the mother. I've tried to patch it up with my 2 kids. They're in Australia at the moment, them 2. But I tried to patch it up, but it hasn't worked. And they just says, "Get on with your life." So that's what I've done. But I know at least I've tried. And that was I had my kids in my daughter in 91 and my son in 92. Simple as. And me and my ex-wife got divorced I think it was 95, 96 of that particular time. But it's a long time, isn't it? It's a long time. But we were together. But we no longer are together. But leaving it round about, I'm going to leave it on a happy note, I think. So round about then, round about 96, going into I got the divorce in 97. I was happy about that. I gave her the divorce. I just wanted to get rid of her, and things like that. I moved. I think it was eventually I moved back in with my dad, because I met Leslie in 2001. Oh God, no, 99, 2000. She got rid of. Well, I can't remember. But I met this woman called Leslie, and she was a complete idiot. She never gave me a chance. But as soon as she got pregnant, she wanted rid of me. So that made me think, it's not, she says it's mine. I don't believe it. But we will never know. And then I met another woman in Middlesbrough. That lasted a couple of years. And then I moved back down into Yorkshire with my dad. Like I said, my dad died in 2003, 2004. I was made homeless by the council, because council rule back then was you can't have the house. And the only reason why they won't let me have the house is because of the state of the house. It's not because it was undecorated, basically. Even though I was breaking my balls to decorate it. So I lost the house, basically. So I was made homeless. The council don't care. They have a care of duty. I told them this in court. I says, you have a care of duty to make sure that I'm rehoused. And they said no. They never did. So I never got rehoused. I moved in with friends. That lasted. I moved in with friends in 2004. That lasted for about 6 months. And then they chucked me out, basically, because I did something wrong. So they chucked me out. And that was that. I fell out with them for a long time. I only just got back to know them, really. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, so my life's been up and down. Yeah, it's been like a Christopher wave, really. But leaving it on a happy note, and I will leave it on a happy note, is that back in 97, my mum died in 97. She died in May 97. But I pulled myself together after that until I think it was July or August of that year. I got a job with Security Corps Guardian. So I started to become a security guard, and things like that. I was still looking after my dad part-time, but I was working. And I did that for a while until my dad needed more intensive help. So then I gave that job up and went to that. As soon as my dad died, I got in 2003, and before his funeral, I got an interview with Chubb Security. and I went with them. And I got offered the job, and that was it. I passed all their tests, what they want me to pass, even my SIA badge. I did all that, and then I went with them. And then I think it was in 2006 I swapped security. I was guarding what tube. Securitas took it over. I wanted to go with Securitas, so I did. I went with Securitas. I got put back on my alt site, and I saw it through. But with Tube, I did get up into mobile, supervisor, mobile supervisor. So I did really well there. I got in, I did the job what I was supposed to do at Securitas. I was made up to a supervisor. Then, don't get a lot of more money at all, but it was something to put onto my sheet and things like that. Yeah, I did a lot. I worked for other security companies in between. I worked for Anchor at York for a long time, for a wee while. Then I went, like I said, from Chubb to Securitas. I did well. I think the Anchor came in between after when I left security guard, which is now called G4S in it. You know what I mean? Things like that. So that's it. But yeah, I was quite happy with what I did, and I became, like I said, I became a security guard. After when my dad died in 2003, I got a job interview, and I got a job at my dad's funeral. I told them this. They said fine, let us know. I went back in January 2004. Said, look, I've just done my dad. I buried my dad, and I want to start work now if you don't mind. And I started work. All in all, I was a security officer, even though I worked for separate companies, 14, 15 years. So I've got that experience and that. So yeah, so that's what I did. But it was only in 2006 when I swapped to Securitas. That's when I swapped to Securitas, unfortunately. Like I said, in between I became homeless. I lived at Castleford, then I moved to All Green. Now I'm in Wakefield at Downley. After being, well, that'll come in next video. So that'll be part 2. So I'll leave it there, where it's 2006, and I'm working for Securitas. That's an interesting one, because I left Securitas for another reason, and I left Securitas in 2008 or 9. Can't remember such things, you know what I mean. But in between then, I'll leave this on a nappy note. In 2006, I found somebody else who wanted to be with me. It didn't last, obviously, because she was younger than me, but there you go. So I'll leave it on a happy note. I did have a girlfriend. I haven't got a girlfriend at the moment, but I did in 2006. But work intervened, and she couldn't start. Fair enough, and that. So there you go. So I'll leave it there, and I'll do part 2 tomorrow, I think. Catch y'all later. Bye for now. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe, share and comment. Please comment. And like I said, I'll continue this tomorrow, so we'll leave it in 2006 when I'm with Securitas. But I have got a I did have a girlfriend until she left me, basically, because of my working hours. And that's what and people interfering with my decisions and that, because I helped somebody out and then he stabbed me back, basically. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it there, 2006, and I'll come back and I'll start from 2006 right up, hopefully, if I can, to where we are now at the present. So, and I will tell you one thing as well. I passed my car test in January 97. I forgot to mention that fact. Yeah, I passed my car test no, not 97. Passed my car test in 96. I passed that in January, February, March, May, April, back end of April, beginning of May. I passed it just in time for me to get the rights to drive a 7.5 ton, because on my I can still drive a 7.5 ton without going for a test. So I've got, like what they say, granddad rights. So yeah, I did pass my car test in 96. I've been past it roughly just over a year when my mum died in May. unfortunately. And then the same year as Princess Diana died. So I'll leave it where I'm in 2006 with Securitas. Like, subscribe, share the video, which is important. Please comment below and I'll catch you all later. And if you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But that is a little nutshell of my little life. And I'll catch you all later. Bye for now.